the scary bit, cybersecurity, but here's Damon to give us a nice, clean viewpoint of it.
Thank you. It's not scary, really, honestly. Right. Hello, everybody. My name is Damon Rand, and yeah, I've been working in cybersecurity for a long, long time. One thing that's made me chuckle the last week or so, I am a certified information security, systems security professional. Now, there's 6,000 of us in the UK, and I made the mistake of mentioning that to my wife, and she said, well, is that a lot? Well, I suppose it's a fair question. I have no idea. But I now know useless facts. So I know there are 27,000 vets in the UK. There are 24,000 surgeons. There's over 50,000 plumbers. So, yeah, so 6,000. There's not many of us. We're a rare breed. Like a lynx cat. Oh, no, we can't say that. So, yeah. I have a number of hats. I am CEO of Wolfbury. We are a cybersecurity consultancy. We work with businesses throughout the UK, protecting them and identifying vulnerabilities before anybody or any naughty person or any accident happens. I also have another hat. I head up Digital Leaders Wales, which showcases Wales's ability in all things digital. So who knew we had a space industry up in North Wales, and to the type of work that we're doing right across the rest of the UK, across the rest of Wales. And I also am organiser and co-founder of the South Wales Cybersecurity Cluster. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the clusters at all, but I'll give them a quick mention. There are 18 clusters in the UK, 2 of them are in Wales. We run the North and the South Wales cluster. Those 2 clusters together are larger than all the other 16 clusters put together in the UK. So it's fantastic. We've got 750 member businesses, and we urge anyone who's interested in learning more about cyber or works in that field to attend. It's every 3rd Tuesday of the month. Always have really, really interesting speakers, and it's a great forum for collaboration. So that's my shout for that. So what is a trusted network? It's an interesting question. I think we'll use 2 case studies for this one. So I bet you've heard of the first one. You might not have heard of the second one. So TalkTalk. Everybody remembers about 2 years ago when TalkTalk got hacked. Yeah? So does everybody know how they got hacked? Well, we know there was this young kid in Pragmatically who hacked them. And he actually got away with it, but he got caught because he hacked Pembroke College as well. And they caught him when he hacked Pembroke College. So that's another story. But they actually got hacked because it was an acquisition. TalkTalk systems were fine. They were secure. They were locked down. They bought another company, didn't do the due diligence on the computer system, introduced that into their network. That got hacked. They got into their network through that. So they introduced an untrusted network into their existing network. Hence, they got caught. Mechanical is probably why we're all here today, actually, and more interesting than any others. Has anybody heard of Target? The second largest, used to be the second largest retailer in America, behind Walmart. Right. In 2013, they had a little supplier who managed to supply 3 of their stores with the refrigeration units. That's all they did. They also had a little portal to log in and upload their invoices, download their purchase orders, all very nice. Mechanical got hacked because they were vulnerable. And through that, Target got hacked. And as part of that hack, every single point of sale terminal in Target's network in America had software put on it that was skimming credit cards. It's cost them billions, right? And their reputation, and you can't. One of the biggest problems with a hack, you can never put a real number against it, because how do you value your reputation? You just can't. So yeah, and typical to America, Mechanical is still going, but they're in the middle of litigation with Target, and Target are being a bit brutal with them. So they don't stand much of a chance, really. So neither of them really. So, and same with TalkTalk. I mean, even the situation with TalkTalk, they've been battered by that. They've lost so many people. They had, bizarrely, right, after the TalkTalk hack, their membership, their users went up. Very briefly, they had a spike, and the reaction was, people were asked about it, and there was, oh, well, they'll be really secure now because they've been hacked. But they've just had a real drop-off now, and they are really, really struggling. So So for us, a trusted network is a network that we can control, you know, that not we personally, but our clients can control, and they understand what devices are connected on, and they take sensible steps. So why is it important? Well, the last slide answered why it's important, really, but what we need to understand is, even today, right, if there's large manufacturers who make products that we use every day on our computer systems, and they don't do a very good job in configuring them or securing them in any way, shape or form. So my best example is something that everybody will use is a HP printer. Everybody has them. And it was only December 2016 that HP announced that they were going to, by default, disable, not remove, disable the most vulnerable protocols we have on the network: FTP, Telnet, SNMP version 1. These are all protocols that pass your usernames and your passwords around in clear text on your network. Really, really vulnerable. And they've always been there. And these, I mean, these were vulnerable in the 90s. They've been around for a long, long, long time. And everybody knows that they're vulnerable. But it's only in December that HP said, well, we're going to disable, but you can enable them if you need them. And nobody needs them, but they're still there. So it's a huge problem. Things like drug infusion pumps. If you can't get this right, this is crazy. So in medical, in the NHS, we have drug infusion pumps that pump the medicine, the morphine or whatever, accessible through FTP and Telnet. So go and sit and have some fun in a ward. Honestly, you know, speed it up, slow it down, speed it up. It's like you'll see some strange emotions going on. I'm telling you. Right? It's absolutely crazy, and this is today. And we.
By the way, you're not scaring anyone.
No. It's like, yeah. Honestly, it's like I could be like, it's like the perfect murder. No, I didn't say that. Right? But honestly. It's absolutely crazy, and that's today, and that's so. And we're bringing all these things, and that's forget about IoT with your internet-connected televisions or your internet-connected kettle. Please explain to me why we need an internet-connected kettle. It's ridiculous. But all of these devices, and they all connect to the internet. Every single one of these devices, the first thing they do when you plug them into your network, they make a call to the network, the internet. They punch a hole through your network and make a call out. There's so many things that we can do with them. So I can show, come around later, and obviously I can show you this as well, that you can have a look on something like Showdown or Google Hacking Database. These are search engines for this type of thing that you can search for products. And you can see them. And then through those products, I can do something called FTP bounce and get onto that network, so that the kettle, and then I can scan the rest of your network and see what's on there. And then maybe hack it or whatever, you know, just have some fun. So these devices, so understanding what you have in your network is vital, and and that's a great point, because a lot of people, when I speak about industry, they always say, "Oh, we're worried about connecting our legacy systems to the network because they were developed before the internet, and now we've had to plug them in. We've done this." And that is right, but it's not just that. It's your existing network. You have to get to grips with what you've got. It's really, really important. So what are the first steps to take? Well, introduce baseline standards. And this is really, really important. Cybersecurity shouldn't cost you money. It'll cost you a little bit of money, but it'll save you a lot more money. And our slogan is, cybersecurity is a process and not a product. There is no silver bullet. You don't bother going out and spending £10,000 on something that's ridiculously expensive. There's just no point. And a great example of this is like introducing a baseline standard internally. So is everybody, we all know the ISOs. Was anybody here heard of ISO 27001? Yeah, it's supposed to be the gold standard in cybersecurity, right? There's another standard as well. It's called Cyber Essentials. Has anybody heard of Cyber Essentials? Okay, yeah. Right. Okay, Cyber Essentials been around since 2014. It's government standard. The first stage is £300. Right? That's all it is. If you compare that to ISO 27001, which is standard, to get 27001 and have it certified correctly, first year is going to cost you around £20,000 for a normal sized company. If you compare it to Cyber Essentials, we're a certification body for Cyber Essentials. Every single company that we've ever tested with ISO 27001 has failed the basic standards of Cyber Essentials. So I would start with a real baseline basic standard, something like Cyber Essentials. It's really, really vital. So once you've introduced this standard into your organization, it does basic things like Cyber Essentials. There's a number of levels to it, which I'll explain later. But once you've done that internally, then you can expand it out. It's something that we're doing with some of our clients at the moment. So we're working with the Welsh Rugby Union to do that at the moment. We're working with Principality Building Society to do this as well. So pushing it out to your trusted partners, those organizations that, you know, share some of your data and you share data with, that makes you vulnerable. And getting a good, as part of the baseline and understanding at the beginning, that gives you an understanding of what data you have and where it goes, because you'd be amazed. One of the major challenges we have for clients is actually understanding what data they have, where is it, and who has access to it, because most people don't have a clue. So once you've adopted that standard and then you've shared it with your partners, you can enforce supply chain. Again, it's something else that we're doing with some of our clients at the moment. Enforcing it down, so if anybody deals with you, it's what Welsh Government, if any of you guys want to work with Welsh Government now, you have to have Cyber Essentials, have to have Cyber Essentials Plus. It's vital. They won't deal with you unless you have. It's a fantastic thing to do. Think Cyber Essentials is like an MOT for your car. And I'm not clicking. Oh. So the baseline standards we would suggest, right? There's Cyber Essentials, which is just an online portal. That's all it is. It costs £300. It has its faults, but it's a great starting point. And the main part of it, it allows you to move on to Cyber Essentials Plus. Cyber Essentials Plus then is an internal scan of your networks. So that someone like me will come along and they'll test. You know, instead of just saying, yes, I have antivirus, we will test to see your antivirus is actually working for you. And then you have a nice report saying, well, this is actually working, this isn't working. Oh, gosh, I'm hooked. The IT company that supports you, you discover that they're not doing any patching or updates. We find that quite a lot, which is great, because then you can turn to your IT company and you can ask them why they're not doing their job properly. It's fantastic. They don't like that very much, but there you go. And then you can go to move on. Once you go to those stages, so you're improving month on month, year on year, you can move to, say, standards like a mini ISO 27001, like IASME Gold, which introduces governance and documentation, you know, disaster recovery policies. What does happen if your main server goes down? How would you cope with that as an organization? What would it do? It gets you to think about all these things. It's quite a cathartic process. That's too hard to say in the morning. So it's a great exercise. So I would urge everybody to do that. And as I said, we are out there. You can come and see us and have a chat about it. It's no problem at all. And we can explain some of the things that we do as part of the plus testing and the process for getting standard as well. It's a real eye-opener for you. And like I said, it is a great exercise. So would recommend you start with a baseline internally, encourage your partners, and then enforce it through the supply chain. Definitely the way to go. Thank you.